Welcome back to normal baseball. Every single division series matchup is 2 games in, and every single division series is tied at 1. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to normal baseball. I'm Alex Normal Dog. That's Lewis. Lewis, we are fully in to the playoff baseball atmosphere. The playoffs are in full swing, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, it certainly has. I am blown away at just the top tier level of baseball that we're getting, considering that some of these matchups are surprises. Teams are on hot streaks and they're going to keep riding the hot hand.
Yeah, a lot of hot streaks, a lot of intensity in these games, a lot of tension in these games, and I think that's where we should start with the most tension, the series with the most tension, rather, the Dodgers and the Padres. A lot of tension going on in that series. We'll explain once we get to game 2, but let's just start with game 1. Game 1 obviously was on Saturday. Every team started on Saturday. Dodgers took it 7-5. Yoshinobu Yamamoto had his first playoff start. Ohtani had his first playoff game. One went better than the other. Yamamoto gave up 4 runs in 3 innings. 5 runs in 3 innings. And Shohei Ohtani went 2 for 3 with a very clutch 3-run home run in the second inning. Lewis, what do you think of this game 1?
Game one was everything that I was anticipating for a Dodgers Padres matchup in the postseason. However, the one thing that I did really dislike from both teams, honestly, was the fact that the last run was scored in the 5th inning, and the Padres have a significantly better bullpen than the Dodgers. When you talk about guys like Tanner Scott, Shane Armstrong, Robert Suarez, like just those
Jason
three.
Adam.
Jason Adam. Oh, did I say Shane Armstrong?
Sean Armstrong, yeah.
That's wrong.
No, yeah. So Jason Adam,
Yeah, Jason Adam.
and Tanner
But
Scott,
all,
Robert Suarez.
all three of those guys are locked down, and they do their job whenever their name is called, which is like great on them. Shout out to them. Like, yes, they are a big reason why the Padres are where they are today. But the fact that the Padres lineup could not score off the Dodgers, was a little bit disappointing. Kind of takes the wind out of the sails. But I'm happy to see that eventually the Padres tied up the series.
I
And
mean, when you think, when you look at who they were facing out of the Dodgers bullpen, they were facing the Dodgers' best guys. I mean, Ryan Brazier, Alex Vesia, Evan Phillips, Michael Kopech, and then Blake Trinan. Those are the Dodgers' 5 best guys in the bullpen.
the only guy that I really do trust though is Michael Kopech. Since coming over to the Dodgers, he's been unstoppable.
That is true. Michael Kopech has been great, but don't discount Blake Trinan. He's a great reliever. Same with
He
Evan
is.
Phillips. Evan Phillips used to be their closer once upon a time.
Once upon a time.
Yeah. But I have a question for you here. When you saw, so obviously the Dodgers fell down 3-0 in the first inning. Yamamoto didn't have the most amazing start to his playoff career, as he would have hoped.
Really
Definitely.
bad.
Yeah. So my question for you is, when you saw Shohei Ohtani hit that 3-run homer to tie it up, what was your instant thought? Was it like, oh my God,
It was
Ohtani
Dodgers are winning this game. It was Dodgers are winning this game.
So your instant thought didn't go anywhere? Because my instant thought was, oh my God, Ohtani's going to be this absolute monster in the playoffs. Just like he was in the regular season. He's going to be hitting home runs left and right. He's going to steal a base or two a game. He's going to go 50-50 in the playoffs. That's what it felt like.
That would have been, I think that's part of it. But when I saw that, I was like, Dodgers are not losing this game. Like Shohei, first game in the playoffs, like he grinded his ass off along with the entire Dodger organization to make sure that they had the bye. Comes out, that homer was electric first and foremost. The bat plane, he like flipped it to the side. It was sick.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he watched it, like he took in the moment, you could tell until the ball landed, which was really cool. But all I could think about in that moment was the Dodgers are not losing this game. Like
Yeah.
they are not throwing away this moment for Shohei Ohtani. And it was cool to see them step up. It was cool to see the rest of the lineup kind of hit around a little bit. Sucks for the Padres losing the C start, I believe. Right? That was game one. They lost the C start.
Yeah, Cease pitched game. Cease pitched game 1. He actually didn't go far at all. He only went 3 1/3 because he started to get banged up. Obviously, the Ohtani home run was a big part of that.
And it sucks because Cease has been a very, very good pitcher for them, for the Padres, I should say, this season. And just the fact that, like, when your name was called upon at, like, the most important time, because, you don't know if you will have the next start when it comes to playing playing in the playoffs,
Right.
excuse me.
Right.
The fact that his name was called upon and he kind of fell short disappointed me a little bit, but I was happy to see that the Padres bats were there because we've seen time and time again in terms of just the playoffs in general, when a team gets hit around a little bit or they lose a big lead, the bats just go dead. I mean, you and I have watched the Yankees how many years in a row do that in the playoffs?
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
We'll
But I
get
was
to
happy
that.
to see that those Padres did not do that in game one and at least scored a couple more runs just to
Yeah.
keep everything moving. That's I think a very important part, even if you don't wind up winning the game, to say like, okay, listen, we had 2 points in this matchup when we scored, one before they scored and one after they started scoring too. Like I think that's very important just for the mental and the morale of every organization and every lineup.
Yeah, I mean, they answered the Otani 3-run homer very nicely. I think it was Xander Bogaerts who had a 2-run double to give them back the lead in the half inning afterwards. So after that, you got to capitalize. And for Dylan Cease to come out in the fourth inning and struggle the way he did, that was the Teoscar 2-run single. And to retake the lead, Dodgers obviously never lost that lead. Like you said, there was no scoring in the game after the fifth inning. They held on, and it was a classic Dodgers game. It made me think, okay, this is the year that they
Plus
don't.
the Dodgers postseason game.
Right. This was kind of what made me think, okay, I don't think they're gonna struggle in the playoffs this year. I mean, Mookie, will get to him. Mookie's
Yeah.
been not great, but they have other guys who are going to step up, and that starts with Shohei Otani in my eyes.
Mhm.
By the way, that graphic that they have for Shohei on
I love it.
Fox,
I think it's hilarious.
it's hilarious, but it's ridiculous. The
I think
Shohei
that it's a
Otani
good
up
thing, though.
second
I
next
will die
inning.
on that hill.
You
I
think it's
think that
what?
that's a good thing. I think it's a good thing because when you talk about baseball, right, in general, it's not the NFL, it's not the NBA. It's very hard for casual fans to come in and watch this game on at the highest level, especially when you're talking about a juggernaut team like the Los Angeles Dodgers. So showing that even though Shohei might not get up this inning or he's coming up next inning, the average fan will stay tuned in. They'll be like, you know what, I can sit through these 3 minutes of ads if that means that I'm going to watch this guy who apparently just made his own club, like did this special thing that no one else in the history of baseball has done. I think it's a good thing. I'll be so candid. I will say it. I think it's a very very good thing.
I
But
like it.
the jokes about it are funny.
Yeah, I like it. I certainly get that point. You have the most marketable guy in the league by far, so let's market him during the playoffs. I just
Yeah,
I get it, but I do think it's a little silly, and I think it's a little
but
funny.
I think what they should do is do it one for each team. Like do it also for Nando because
Yeah, like
you're talking about another playoff riser in Fernando Tatis Jr. So far, Shohei Ohtani has been a playoff riser. You can even go to other series, be like, hey, listen, Juan Soto's coming up next today. Oh,
yeah.
look at this, Jose Ramirez
Well, I
is coming
mean,
up next
if you
today.
just stay in that series, Fernando Tatis Jr. He's hitting 600 in the playoffs. He has 3 homers, 5 RBIs. His OPS is over 2.1. Like if you want to market Shohei Ohtani, market Fernando Tatis Jr. too, because he's definitely proven that he's the most swag. Like he has swag, and he backs it up with his play. And I think that
Yeah,
that is honestly one of the most marketable things in baseball right now too. And granted, Shohei, like we said, that bat flip. When have we seen Shohei really have a bat flip like that? I mean, he did maybe one last season, I guess, against the Rangers. But like we've never seen
yeah.
Otani in the playoffs. His first playoff hit, his first playoff homer, and he bat flips like that. Like I get the marketability, but then you got a guy like Fernando Tatis Jr. who, spoiler alert, hit 2 home runs in the second game of this series.
Yeah.
I want to see Fernando Tatis. I want to see every single Fernando Tatis Jr. at bat of this postseason, by far.
It's hard not to want to watch him. He is the perfect definition of a superstar when you talk about uh, his career so far. When, yes, he is going, like, he has been an MVP. Excuse me. He has been in MVP conversations before. He honestly could have won one a few years back. But on top of all that, when you get that postseason patch on Tatis's jersey, he goes from a damn near 300 hitter to, like Alex just said, a 600 hitter in the playoffs. Like,
Yeah.
that is crazy. Two dotting on OPS. I don't care if it's a smaller sample size. The fact that he's done it over the course of how many playoff series has he played in? Three? Four?
More than
Like,
that.
no, well, he wasn't in the 2022 run.
Oh, I don't know
But,
that number off the top of my head. I mean, I know
but
this
like,
season he's hitting
he's not
600.
played in he's not played in just this playoff series. Like, there's been other playoff series. He is just a dominant force, and I love that there are certain superstars in this game, especially Tatis is the golden example of it. Playoff fucking riser.
Yeah. I mean, it, speaking of Tatis, I think it's a good time to get to game two of this series, move things along here. Game two of the series started with a bang. I mean, Mookie Betts thought he had a home run in the bottom of the first inning to lead off for the Dodgers. He didn't, or to second batter. He didn't. Jurickson Profar robbed a homer, stared at the fans, started jumping backwards. Mookie was around second base before he even noticed or realized, before anyone really realized.
Yeah.
Um, Absolutely
Except for
electric.
Xander Bogaerts. Xander Bogaerts knew, which
I
was like really funny.
I think I knew when I was watching that game. When I was watching that,
Oh,
I
you
would.
could tell that he
I
caught it.
said. I said audibly. I said like, did I? I thought he caught it. I was like, wait a minute. Like it looked like he caught it, and then I was like, oh wait, yeah, he did catch it. I was right.
And the best part about the fact that he like robbed that homer is one, it was off Mookie Betts, who, like you said earlier, is like 1 for 23 or something like that in the playoffs in the last two seasons, which I digress about that. But also, he wasn't like doing it to mock or taunt the fans. The fans that were near him were like, "Oh my god, he really caught that! Oh my god, he really caught that!" And Profar was just like jumping up and down. He's like, "I did. Like that's what I do. Like that's me. I'm here to do that. Like
It
I'm the
was.
left fielder."
Yeah. No.
Which was so cool. Like it wasn't like he was mocking the fans,
No. It
but
was.
the fans also gave him that nod of respect of like, "Wow, you caught that. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy."
It was a fine reaction. It's just crazy. Crazy way to start the game, especially for the Padres, who lost game one, and they're still in Dodger Stadium. You kind of have to win game two. I know you're going back to your house in San Diego, but Dodgers can definitely take a game on the road. So that game two was vitally important for the Padres. They wound up winning 10-2, but there was even more controversy, or I guess there was an incident in the middle of the game. A fan threw a ball at Jurickson Profar from the crowd, and then the fans
But
started
he
throwing
had given to a fan.
right, and then the fans started throwing trash onto the field. There was like an 8-minute delay in the game. What did you think? What did you think of that gesture from Dodgers fans? Because obviously the general consensus is very negative.
It annoyed the living hell out of me because it should not have been a situation like Profar just gave that to someone in the crowd. Like he didn't just throw it into the crowd randomly. Like he walked all the way over to the wall to hand it to a fan, a spectator, and he was like, "You know what? Fuck you. I'm going to throw this back." And he threw it like almost directly at him. I can understand Profar for being upset. I don't agree with then every fan being like, "Oh well, obviously, that guy's a Dodger fan. He must be right." And then like throwing beer and throwing food onto the field at Fernando Tatis Jr. on the other side of the field was just like such a low class move, especially when yes, this is a rivalry and all the fans hate each other and just want to see the best baseball played and want to see their team win. I get all that. But then there's a certain line that you just don't cross. And I think that we can both agree on that, considering that we were at Yankee Stadium for the Yankees Guardians incident a couple of years ago. Like it's
Yeah, it
just
was
such like a stupid line to go over.
it was very similar to that. I mean, that's what it reminded me of, especially because I was there for the other time with Miles Straw and
Yankees.
Stephen Kwan.
Yeah.
That was crazy, but that is what it reminded me of. It was very unnecessary, and that wasn't even the only thing that happened. I mean, Flaherty made his postseason debut with the Dodgers. Five
He
and a
gave them
third.
like the statistical best Dodgers start in the postseason in the last like 20 years, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, 5 and a third, 4 earned, only 2 strikeouts, but one of those strikeouts was Manny Machado to end one of the innings. I believe to start the fifth inning. I believe that was he struck out Manny
I
Machado.
think it was his last batter.
Yeah, I
Like
think so
Manny
too.
was his last batter.
He struck him out, told Manny to go sit down, and then the next
Wow.
half inning they started chirping at each other from the dugout. Well, Flaherty was in the dugout. Manny was at third. They were chirping at each other. I think Manny told him to meet him in the parking lot after the game. Some like Willie Adames stuff.
That's what. So, from what I think I saw, it was Jack Flaherty was like talking his shit. Manny Machado was talking his shit too. And then when Manny said like, "I'll see you in the parking lot," then the face that Jack Flaherty makes of just like a stunned like,
Yeah,
"Oh my god,
yeah,
is he being serious?" Like he
yeah.
like just did not answer for 30 seconds, and I was like, "Bro, Jack
He was
Flaherty's scared."
he was like dumbfounded. But what really was the um, controversy now that was just revealed during like pretty much just revealed was apparently Manny Machado threw a ball into the Dodgers dugout like with the intent to hit somebody.
I
And
don't know how much I believe that.
well, according to what I'm reading, the Dodgers sent the video to Major League Baseball. I guess thinking that hopefully Major League Baseball is gonna do something about it, maybe suspend Manny. I don't know. It's weird that the video's not out. I guess only the Dodgers have the video, and they sent it to Major League Baseball. And Dave Roberts said that the ball was directed at him. So if
I
you're
don't
throwing a
believe
ball at the other team's manager, I mean, I don't know what the video looks like, so I don't know what to believe. You know?
Right. And yes, although it's a rivalry, and yes, the teams like it was heated. It was a heated game. Manny Machado would not do that to anybody, let alone some guy that used to manage him when they made the World Series. Like,
I will say a reporter mentioned it in a press conference the day after, so it's not like Dave Roberts mentioned it for no reason. Like he was asked about it, so I assume a ball did get thrown by Manny Machado in the direction of the Dodgers dugout, but I don't know
right,
what
but I don't think it
happened
was
after
like
that. I don't know why either.
I just don't think that it was a like let me take Dave Roberts' head off his
No,
shoulders.
I mean I don't think it
There was
was
just
that
no way.
either. I don't know. I'm interested to see where this goes. Maybe we'll get a Draymond Green NBA final situation.
Oh boy, that would just be not what the Padres need at all. Manny Machado, shout out. Can we just say also, if we're going to talk about Manny Machado, holding a team only meeting in the dugout,
That was great.
like hard as hell, being like, they don't want us to win. Like, let's go show them who we are. This is Padres baseball. Like, that is what you call being a leader. That's why the Padres signed Manny Machado because they needed someone like that. And sure, like there were other people that have been available throughout the years, but Manny Machado, like maturing and growing into that guy, like that clubhouse leader, is the perfect role for him.
And
Especially because LA, the Dodgers, consider him like a villain for leaving them in free agency.
the craziest part about it is that the Padres after that hit 4 home runs. It was Merrill, then Bogarts, then Tatis, and then Kyle Higashioka, or maybe Higashioka then Tatis, but
Something like that.
still crazy. They tied the record for most home runs hit in a single postseason game, 6. And yeah, it kind of all like started like the bats went hot after Manny Machado was talking to them in the dugout. It was actually pretty crazy to see. And by the way,
I love to see that stuff.
the Padres did indeed win the Kyle Higashioka trade. So Higgy's got what 3-4 home runs this postseason. I'm in.
I think he has 3.
Yeah, I think 3. Yeah, but still, Juan Soto has none this postseason.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that.
And
later.
Mike
Moving
King,
on.
12 strikeouts in the wild card game.
I love Michael Caine. I think I actually said on
Is he
this
pitching game 3?
podcast- I would assume so. But I just to say something really
He
quick.
is.
I do think I said on this podcast that if I were to the Yankees, I was not doing this trade. I was not doing the Juan Soto trade if you had to give up Michael Caine. Low key, just saying, Michael Caine,
I don't know.
beautiful start for his like career as a starter this season.
I think
Just saying.
I think the Yankees might get another 9 to 12 years out of Juan Soto because of that trade. But that's a conversation for the offseason.
We'll find out later.
The next game is Wednesday. It's gonna be next game's Tuesday. It's Walker Buehler against Michael King. I think we should move on to the comeback Mets because that is
never say die Mets.
the Grimace Mets.
Oh, the Grimace Mets.
The Grimace Mets. The Pumpkin Mets as well.
Pumpkin.
They're a lot of Mets. They have a lot of things this year. But yeah, Mets Phillies. This has been a hell of a series. We're 2 games in. This has been a hell of a series.
Oh yeah.
Game one on Saturday, the Kodai Senga started that game. Wasn't even expected to start. The Mets kind of pulled it out of their back pocket. He only went 2 innings, gave up 1 home run. It was just a leadoff bomb to Kyle Schwarber because there's nothing you could really do about leadoff Kyle Schwarber in the playoffs. He's gonna hit a home run at least twice a series. So another one's coming at some point.
Sure, that's true.
I mean, I think the Mets knew Kodai Senga wasn't going to go far into this game. I think it was just kind of a curveball to throw at the Phillies. Like, oh my God, I didn't even think Kodai Senga could start, and they're starting him. They wrote David Peterson after him. They knew they knew they were going to do that.
That was the game plan.
Yeah, they knew they were going to do that. That's why they carried David Peterson into the series. Certainly. I mean, well, David Peterson would have started if Kodai Senga didn't, rather.
Yeah, you're right about that. Sorry, I had to think about that for a second.
But
yes,
anyway,
you're definitely right about that.
But anyway, Mets are down 1-0 going into the 8th inning, and the comeback Mets, as they do, scored 5 runs in the top of the 8th inning to take a 5-1 lead. They wound up winning 6-2 to take Game 1, and you can only imagine how high the vibes in that Mets clubhouse were after Game 1. Another comeback win.
I can only imagine, and especially for these Mets that have not played a home game in like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And finally, the closest you get to home is Philadelphia. You're like, you know what? We're going to silence the noise. What did JD say? JD Martinez gave a speech, and he said it to the press as well.
He said, we suck.
He's like, yeah, we suck. Let's all go suck together. That type of thing.
It was
like that stuff, saying stuff like that,
pause.
Especially when you're talking about a playoff game, a playoff team that was so unlikely, literally 10 games out of the wild card at one point. Like the never say die Mets, the miracle Mets, that's just what they are now.
That's truly what they are. They are the never say die comeback Mets. The grimace Mets, if you will.
Yeah, and golly, if they keep on winning, will this be a story for the ages?
Yeah, I mean, they were unable to take. They almost did it again in Game 2. Game 2 was a thriller of a game. Mets went up 3-0. Mets went up 3-0 going into the bottom of the 6th, and it kind of seems like the Phillies bats were just like dead almost. Yeah. So like it felt like every time they got someone on, they would hit into a double play or I know Bryson Stott got on once, and he got thrown out for the final out of the inning. Like, it was just so, like, deflating at times. And Sevy threw really well. I mean, I know in the end, we'll get to it, he did give up 3 runs, but 6 innings, 7 strikeouts. It was a good start from Sevy. And it just felt like those Phillies bats were just deflated. But that all changed in the 6th inning, as we know. Bryce Harper, playoff Bryce, 2-run homer. Followed up by Castellanos with the solo shot back-to-back, tied the game. It was electric, to say the least.
Oh, it so was, especially because I think Philadelphia has the best playoff atmosphere in terms of just how much the fans care about seeing the Philadelphia Phillies win a baseball game. It is insane. I love that, and obviously sport fans are like that everywhere, but in Philadelphia, it just feels like it's more passion than anything else. So shout out to the Phillies on that one. I do think that this was more of, and this is for the Mets' sake, this was more of a display, Game 2, I should say, was more of a display of what the Philly bats can do compared to how bad the Mets bullpen can be at times. Like the Phillies lineup just woke up. It just woke up. There was no stopping them.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little weird because they had that comeback, and then almost immediately after, Nimmo homered and just gave them the lead again. And it was kind of just the feeling of, the Mets just, they won't die.
Yeah.
Like, no matter how much you think you take out their momentum, it doesn't matter. It felt like that. I mean, it didn't end up being that way. It kind of did. I mean, the Phillies retook the lead in the 8th. They took a 2-run lead, actually, going into the top of the 9th. They just needed, a couple more outs. And next thing you know, they walk Lindor, which is honestly the biggest mistake you could possibly make for some reason. And whenever Lindor gets walked, something insane happens right after.
Or Lindor just gets on base.
Right. Right, or Lindor gets on base in a big moment. You know, he gets the chain moving very well. And
He is a perfect definition of a spark plug, but
yeah,
he's just
he
a
is.
spark
He
plug.
really is.
He's
Anyway,
a multi-million-dollar spark plug.
Mark Vientos 2-run homer, tie the game, second homer of the game, 24-year-old. How impressed have you been with Mark Vientos this postseason?
Do you want like a boom or doom or a number out of 10? Like I would give him a 5 out of 5 booms.
There you
He's
go.
just been
I think that perfectly
spectacular.
explains it.
Like there is nothing more that you would want out of a third base slash DH guy than what Mark Venitos is for the New York Mets. And if I'm a free agent or if I'm a guy that might get traded this offseason, you're hoping that when your agent calls you, you're like, we're going to Queens because, imagine a guy like Alex Bregman sandwiched in between Lindor and Vientos.
Yeah.
Whoa. Like that would not only raise the Mets' potential, but it would also raise Alex Bregman's batting average and
Yeah.
all of his counting stats. Because guess what? Who wants to pitch to a guy that's hitting 2 home runs in his first ever like real playoff series?
Yeah.
Are we
Well,
serious?
a little less, less about free agency. I mean, at this point, it made me think, this team's never going to lose another game again. Like
He's a star.
that's what it made me think. It just made me think they found another way. They're going to do it every single time, and there's nothing anyone could do about it.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. Truly, that's what it felt like.
I will second that. I will agree with you on that because it is just mind-boggling how good Mark Vientos is. I don't know why it took me so long to think about his name.
Evidently, my feeling was wrong.
That's true.
Bottom of the ninth, Phillies walked it off. Nick Castellanos, he was booed in his second at bat of the game for swinging at pitches outside of the zone. He just did. It looked like he was just swinging at everything. He looked like he was completely lost at the plate. He finally took a pitch. They started sarcastically cheering him, and then from there on, he had a homer and the game-winning RBI single. So safe to say that he took offense to that and he took note of it. And Nick Castellanos. So that series is tied too, heading into New York on Wednesday.
I think that this was the only series that I can genuinely say with confidence that if a team jumped out to a 2-0 lead, like just to kick it off, like if Philly won both games or if the Mets won both games, there was no game 4. Like it would have been a sweep. So to see the Phillies come from behind and really make this a true series, 1-1 going back into New York, where the Mets have not played in almost 3 weeks, that's exciting.
Yeah,
that's great baseball.
I had the same feeling going in. I was going into game 2. I said if the Mets win this one, they're gonna win game 3 at home. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they still might win game 3 at home, but it won't be a sweep.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. I am excited for that series as well. Do you want to transition to the next one?
Yeah, sure. Moving over to the AL, I guess. Not that those two series have necessarily been boring, but the two NL series have dare I say, blown them out of the water.
I think it's fair to say that both game 2s of the ALDS I could watch in 25 years while sitting on my couch, like scrolling through TV channels and be like, oh my God, this is a classic.
NLDS.
NLDS, excuse me.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. So we'll move over to Guardians Royals. Guardians Royals, AL Central battle.
Tigers.
Or sorry, Guardians Tigers. My bad. AL Central battle either way. Game 1 was, dare I say, boring.
It was what they call the Cleveland show. Not trademarked, by the way.
It was the Cleveland show. A 5-run first inning. Just after that, it was over.
I think it was before they even recorded an out, too. Like,
yeah.
They were just demolishing.
Lane Thomas 3-run homer to cap it off. I mean, I don't know if you had the same feeling, but did you know that it was over after that 5-run inning? Because I did.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Lane Thomas's homer, I was like, yeah, there's no point in watching this anymore. Because the Guardians are, I think, the only team left in the American League that will run it down your throat and not let off the gas. So as soon as I saw that they got the lead, I was like, yeah, they're not losing this game.
Yeah, their first 5 batters of the game scored. That's an insane start. It was a bad feeling for the Tigers. This Tigers team has been hot. They kind of remind me of the Diamondbacks from last year. Obviously, they're a lot younger. Diamondbacks had some veterans, but they're reminding me of the Diamondbacks last year. Like, they're not supposed to be there, but they're there, and they're one of the hottest teams. So obviously, we know in playoff baseball, it's honestly not even about who's the best team; it's about who's the hottest. And the Tigers were the hottest at that point, and the Guardians just said, "Wait, right there. Let's remember who won the AL Central.
Mm-hmm.
It was them," and kind of kicked their ass.
Yeah, for lack of a better term, in game one, they did just kind of kick the Tigers' ass, which, if you look back onto that Astros series for the Tigers and hearing AJ Hinch saying, like, listen, we're going Scooble 1 and chaos after that, like, the Tigers' game one was just chaos compared to their game two. And,
It
well,
was.
game two in which Scooble pitched. The fact that, they didn't, their starting pitcher could not record an out. That's just not good. Like, that is chaotic, but the wrong type of chaotic.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Scooble 1, chaos after has truly been what it is because Scooble pitched game 2 and he was a monster. The
Well,
Guardians, it looked. I talked about Nick Castellanos looking lost at the plate. Every single guy on the in the Guardians lineup looked completely lost against Tariq Scooble. 7 innings, 3 hit, no earned, 8 strikeouts. He was phenomenal. And they almost
and
wasted it because it was 0-0 going into the ninth inning.
yeah, yeah. But just to keep talking about Scooble, the AL Triple Crown winner, AL Cy Young winner, more than likely, it blows my mind. Like, it seriously does. The fact that he went out there, gave 7 innings, right? Only what, 3 hits? 3 hits? Yes, that's what that says. Yeah,
3 hits,
three
yeah,
hits,
3 hits.
8 strikeouts, and the
No walks.
simple, right, the simple fact that there was no walks, he barely got behind in the count, and when he did, what did he do? He pumped 99-mile-an-hour fastballs, like, right at the top, right inside the hands of most batters. He's disgusting. The fact that this pitcher, Tariq Daniel Scooble, has lived up to the hype,
Pull
as
that
well
government.
as, yes, the full government. Only because his mom tweeted it out after he walked off the goddamn mound and said, shut the fuck up to the entirety of the Cleveland fan base, which was hard as hell. No matter which way you want to slice it, that's badass. When your team is tied and you're talking shit to the fans, that's so cool.
I'd agree. It was cool. I mean, honestly, not as cool as Kerry Carpenter hitting a 3-run home run off Emmanuel Clase in the ninth inning with 2 outs and 2 strikes. Are we
What
kidding?
dreams are made of? What dreams are made of?
Dude, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I was listening to the Tigers radio broadcast, and they said, listen, if there's one guy you want up in this situation, I think it's Kerry Carpenter. And I mean, they were right on the money.
Yeah, well, because Kerry Carpenter is the fifth best batter in baseball against right-handed pitching from the regular season. There's a reason why Kerry Carpenter has been such a great player this season offensively, because when he sees right-handed pitching, it's like he's hitting a beach ball compared to hitting left-handed pitching for some unknown reason, especially off a guy like Emmanuel Clase, who this entire season has been dominant. More, I think he only has 5 earned runs. Is that
He
that right?
Clase gave up in the entirety, I think it was 64 and a third innings or 74 and a third innings in the entirety of the regular season, gave up 5 earned runs the entire time and just 2 homers. And neither of those 2 homers were to left-handed batters. And Kerry
Yeah.
Carpenter gave him 3 earned runs on his head and a home run from a left-handed batter.
His head.
Tigers won
But
3
yeah,
nothing.
that moment was great. I love that for the Tigers, the gritty Tigs, as they say,
Gritty Tigs.
because oh my god, like, that makes it a series going back into Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
Like, those fans have been hungry for some playoff action, and the fact that this team got them there and are now probably one of the hottest teams left in baseball, it's going to be loud there. Guardians, get ready for, you got to go in and win these games. Yes, but it's going to be hard. You are not going to have an easy time doing so.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first playoff game in Detroit since when? Like 2013, 2014? It's one or the
Them
other.
and
It's
it's 2014, I think, because them and the Angels have the same like playoff drought. Well,
right,
had.
right, 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 right. Yeah,
So
so
I think
2014.
it's 2014.
Yeah, now the Angels have the longest playoff drought. No surprise there.
Name dropping the Angels in a playoff episode. What are we doing?
Yeah, honestly, should go unmentioned. Although I think I mentioned them with Otani before, but that's besides the point.
No.
If,
But shout out to the Detroit Tigers pitching staff as well. Just want to say, holding that Guardians lineup to 0 runs after giving up 7 the night prior,
they
not an easy task.
their bullpen's been great. I mean, they just have to figure out the starting situation, like because they can only make
There is no starting situation.
right.
AJ Hinch broke it down pretty easy.
Correct, but
Scooble,
that's the
chaos.
issue. I mean, we've seen that it really doesn't work as well when you have who do they use as the opener all the time? Holton.
I think so.
When
That's what they used in game 1.
Right, Holton, and then followed up by Reese Olson. Like, just start Reese Olson at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
I love Reese Olson.
in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right.
We can move on to the final series, Yankees Royals. The boogie down. First 2 games in the boogie down. That series is tied as well.
Yeah, they were jumping. They were jumping out in game 1.
They were. Game 1 had 5 lead changes, which I think I saw was the most in playoff history, which is pretty insane. They just kept going
controversial call.
Back and forth. Yeah, very controversial call.
What is your opinion on that?
I mean,
so for anyone that's not familiar, by the way, before we just start talking about it, Jazz Chisholm tried to steal second base, and he was declared safe. And then they went to replay review. The Royals challenged, went to replay review. You can clearly see that Jazz Chisholm's foot is not on the bag by like this much, by barely even like a nose hair. But the glove is touching him. So why is he not out? Umpires still say the call stands, the runner's safe. Then I think it was the next batter, Verdugo. Opposite field single, scores the run, Yankees win.
Yeah.
Not walk-off fashion, but they went on to win.
Yeah, I mean, from the angle they kept showing on TV, it looked obviously, like you said, Jazz's foot was definitely off the bag for a hair when they kept pausing it. And it looked like the glove was applied, the tag was applied. But I don't think it was in 100% sure angle. And I think that's really what it boiled down to.
Oh, that is what it boiled down to. But when when I was just looking at it like on TV, I was like, well, he's clearly out. Like the Royals win this challenge, they will overturn this call. And then the fact that the crew chief stood there and like the call is confirmed, the runner is safe. I was like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they could have had another angle that no one else had. It could have been that, or it just could have been the simple fact that it was indecisive. And when it's indecisive, you have to stick with the call on the field. Either way, like a lot of people were really upset with it. I get that it really did look like that tag was applied, and it could have been, for all I know. I mean, it looked like that tag was applied before Jazz's foot hit the base, but they didn't call it, and there's nothing you could do about it after that, you know?
No, yeah, you're right about that. I think that the big thing for the Yankees in this game, game 1, was the fact that they were able to make it through without having the best performances from your 2 top guys, being Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, Aaron Judge, notorious playoff sinker, like just cannot do anything right in the playoffs, which sucks because during the regular season, Aaron Judge is the best player in baseball.
Yes, correct. I mean, Juan Soto went 3 for 5, so I wouldn't say that's a
right. But we didn't get like a big moment from him. Is what I'm saying.
Right, but he was still getting on base. I mean, Judge, the playoff struggles. He's pretty much just asking for it now.
Him and Mookie Betts, man. Him and
Mookie are in the same boat. Freddie gets an excuse this year because he's injured, and also top guys not having great games. Garrett Cole did not have a great game either. He went out there. He only went 5 innings. He gave up 7 hits, 3 earned, 4 runs, 3 earned. He wasn't looking great either. So not having a great game from Cole or Judge and still winning, still getting the job done. Doogie absolutely stepped up to the plate, knowing that Jason Dominguez was ready to replace him like that. Good for Alex Verdugo, in my opinion.
I will say the one thing I just want to throw in is I think Garrett Cole going up against the Royals lineup was a very, very, very standard situation of like what Rust does. Like Rust, does. because the Yankees got the bye. Sure, Garrett Cole was throwing simulated bullpens. I think everyone on the planet has seen the video of Garrett Cole pitching to Ben Rice and Ben Rice taking him yard. Like, I get that. However, it's not like the game situation. You're not having that 45,000 fans screaming in your ear. You're not hearing all the noises. Like, it's just, I think that that was a perfect case study of like, what does it look like when a team has a lot of rest for a long time when they're about to go play the most important series of the year? Garrett Cole really showed that it doesn't help that much, in my opinion, at least. I'm a big fan of the wild card teams, is what I will say.
Yeah, I mean, there's something in having a week off. It slows down momentum, and especially for pitchers, obviously, you're not actually throwing a game on that fifth day. But
Yeah,
either way, I don't know. I still think you should expect your ace to come out and have his best stuff every single time. And he simply didn't. I
yeah.
will
This
say,
season, but that's been all of Garrett Cole this season, like fighting off what everyone thought was a season-ending injury, just to come back and still pitch decently, but just not to the Cy Young caliber that we saw in 2024, 2023. Excuse me, was a little bit of a bummer.
yeah, it's fair. I mean, I think a shining star again in this game was Luke Weaver for the Yankees. 4-out save,
Goat,
three of those outs were strikeouts.
goat.
He has just come in and been absolutely dominant. He is what a closer should be. He brings the energy, he strikes guys out, and he gets the job done. And he could wind up being the MVP for the Yankees come however far this playoff run goes. He already has been, in my opinion.
Oh, certainly down the stretch. I mean, Luke Weaver stepping up big time, considering that he's just like literally a guy that they claimed off waivers too. It's not like everyone was going into the season being like, "Oh boy, Luke Weaver in the ninth inning, can't wait." It was always like play Holmes, and he started off that first half of the season so well, and then we watched him fall from grace in the second half to the point where what he pitched in the sixth inning, seventh inning of game one, and then didn't. I don't even think got an appearance in
No,
game two.
he did pitch in game two. So did Weaver. Clay Holmes got the win in game one, by the way.
Yeah, no, I know that he pitched in game one. I did not
No,
know that he
he
pitched
pitched
in
an
game
inning.
two.
He pitched an inning in game two. Weaver pitched in game two, but which we might as well talk about it now. I mean, game two, Carlos Rodon. Yes, he had 7 strikeouts in 3 2/3, but he gave up 4 earned runs, and he really didn't look good towards the end of that start. And the Yankees wound up having to use 7 bullpen arms in game two, which is
They have a day off.
not what you want. They do have a day off, and Luke Weaver only threw. I think he only threw one pitch. I think he came in with 2 outs in the bottom, rather top of the ninth. I think he came in with 2 outs and he threw one pitch and got a pop up. So you didn't really use your closer arm all that much. But using 7 arms, no matter what way you look at it, is not what you want in a playoff game at all. You need your starters to
Totally.
go
And
deep.
the thing that sucks the most is Rodon, like you said, was dominant for 3 innings, but when he gave up that homer to Salvi,
He
you could
derailed.
tell that he was rattled by it. I think that's a big blunder on every coach for the Yankees, as well as Austin Wells, as well as a guy like Gleyber Torres or Anthony Volpe. Like, you gotta, after that homer, sure, let him throw a pitch or two, but go have a mound visit. Stand there until the umpire literally is dragging you back to your position or back into the dugout. Because not Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon was rattled. He was rattled about giving up that homer to Salvi. I wish that there would have been a way to minimize the damage for the Yankees because Rodon was off to one hell of a start. It just sucks that the one homer really, dominoed into everything else that happened in the game for the Royals offensively.
Yeah, he got beat on 3 sliders. All the hits for RBIs against Rodon were sliders. So hanging him in there a little too long, evidently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, so the Royals went on to win game two. That series is tied to, obviously, at 1-1 going back into Kansas City. What do you think we'll see from Kansas City on Wednesday?
Grit
Clark
and
Schmidt versus Seth
grind.
Lugo.
Yeah, Seth Lugo is a very, very dominant arm. I'm excited to see him pitch. Clark Schmidt has been very underrated for the Yankees this season, has really stepped up in big moments. But if there's one thing that we learned about the Royals and their fan base from the early mid 2010s, that stadium can get very loud very fast. So let's see if that rattles up the Yankees a little bit because they're used to going into Kauffman Stadium and it being damn near quiet or mostly a home game for them. So let's see what it looks like when it's just Kansas City Royals fans cheering for the Bobby Witts, cheering for the Michael
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 Mass.
Masti?
Yeah.
Michael Masti,
My
like
goat. My
cheering
goat.
for Vinny Pasquantino. Like those guys, the Royals have a team. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They
They do.
already beat up
They
the Orioles. They
have a
beat
team.
up the Orioles. We saw that. They just kind of beat up Carlos Rodon. But what is it going to look like when they play at home again? Like having that home crowd is big for the younger guys, and obviously the Royals have the younger guys to really run it down your throat.
I really,
Hoping to see something interesting.
I really want Bobby Witt Jr. to pick it up.
Me too. I think he's a little nervous. I think you can tell.
I
He's a
mean,
little nervous.
rookie in his first postseason, I get it, but you know.
Not a rookie.
Well, sorry. First rookie, postseason rookie, technically, first postseason.
Yes, first postseason.
But he's not playing well. But they have the veterans on this team to pick up the slack for him. I mean, Tommy Pham. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Tommy Pham on this team.
Yeah, the broadcast said that this is Tommy Pham's fifth team where he's played in the postseason.
Yeah.
Crazy stat. Like, whoa. Hello, Tommy Pham, playoff guy.
No, I mean that makes sense. He was on the Diamondbacks. He was a big part of that Diamondbacks team that made the World Series last year.
He was.
He was on the Red Sox in 2022, Padres in 2020 and 2021. He was on and I think the Cardinals he made the playoffs with as well. So that's 5, right?
Cardinals mentioned.
But
yeah, I don't know. When I think of Tommy Pham, I think of him as like the third outfielder that usually hits in the bottom 3 of the lineup. I didn't really think about it, but when I heard it, I was like, wow, yeah, Tommy Pham has played in a lot of playoff games.
Dude, he's a guy that I'd want on my team if we were going to the playoffs. I just feel he's a good playoff player.
Totally. He also just like naturally, whenever the broadcast shows him, he always has like this like mean mugging, casual like resting bitch face that I think is just perfect for his personality. Like it just fits him so well. Of like, why is this camera on me? Like I'm here to play baseball.
He's a career 302 playoff hitter. So if I'm going to the playoffs, I want Tommy Pham on my team.
Tommy Pham and Will Smith to the promised land.
I do think. Oh, right, they have Will Smith too, 3-time in a row champ. 3 or 2?
3, I think.
Okay. Anyway, I think big for the Yankees. You need to get Aaron Judge moving. We are getting into that territory of is Aaron Judge not a playoff performer? Like he's just. I feel like impatient. I believe in game 1 he went 0 for whatever, and he only saw 1 pitch in the strike zone, which means that he's chasing out of the strike zone, which is something that he does when he gets into big slumps. But when he gets into his slumps, that's what he does, and that's why he gets into those slumps. So he needs to lay off. And I mean, he did work a walk in game 2, and he worked he had a single as well in the 9th inning. So I think you really need to get him started, and you need something big out of Clark Schmidt because Seth Lugo notoriously owns the Yankees. So you're going to need something big out of Clark Schmidt.
That is true. I think if you're the Yankees going into game 3, your goal is to see as many pitches as possible, get Lugo out of there as early as possible, and really make that pitch count work. Because the quicker you get Lugo out of there, the better chance you have. Because the Royals bullpen, while it's still good, yes, I think the Yankees have a better chance against the Royals bullpen than Seth Lugo. I think is that fair to say?
No, it is, because Seth Lugo's been a Yankee killer in his career.
Yeah, and if you're on the other side, the Royals, right, you have Clark Schmidt going. I think it's the exact opposite of you want to get to Clark Schmidt as early as possible because, like Alex just said, the Yankees use 7 relievers in game 2. They're going to be a little hesitant to bring in guys who maybe threw an inning or maybe threw 40 pitches. Like, they're going to be a little hesitant. I would say try to get to Clark Schmidt as early as possible. And those are like Lewis's keys to game 3, I guess. I don't know why I started doing that, but that's that.
Fair enough. I mean, time will tell. We have on Wednesday Mets, Phillies, Dodgers, Padres, and then Wednesday, all 4 series play.
Tuesday. You said Thursday.
No, Wednesday, all 4 play. And Tuesday, Oh, so
Oh,
no, yes, I did say Tuesday is Phillies, Mets, Dodgers,
I
Padres.
am.
I'm thinking today's Tuesday already.
Yeah. If I'm going to be honest, Mets Phillies is the game to watch out of the two tomorrow, only because Aaron Nola is going up against Sean Manaea. It's going to be a great matchup,
In
considering
Flushing
that.
too.
Yeah, not only that, it's first home game, and like I said 3 times it feels like already. It's a home game, first home game for the Mets in like 3 weeks. On top of the fact that Aaron Nola, throughout his career of being a Philly and being in the postseason, he has been a guy that steps up in the biggest of big moments when they need him most. So it's just one of those things where I'm just like looking around to think about it right now because I'm trying to find the right word of this is the game that you want to lock in on. This is the game that you're going to want to watch Aaron Nola more than likely go blow for blow with whatever the Mets might throw at them. So it'll be fun.
Certainly. Certainly. Time will tell what happens in those series, but for now, all we could do is watch. And I had a great time watching both game 1 and 2 of every single series. So I hope every series continues to be as exciting as it's been. It's
Oh
been
yeah,
been
it
a great
will. That's
playoff so
playoff
far.
baseball.
It's been great so
Yeah.
far. But yeah, for now,
Shout out baseball.
for
Shout out
now, yeah,
baseball.
just shout out baseball, and we will.
Who? Let's
We're
one
not
more
done.
thing.
We're not done.
One more thing. One more thing. What team do you think now that you've seen the playoffs kind of mellow in a little bit? It's been marinating in your brain. You know, you got a lot going on up there, but baseball's one of them. What team do you think has the best chance to win the World Series in your mind?
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, but let me just give me just no explanation, no nothing. Just give me a team.
I don't have an answer for you. I think it's. I still think it's. I think that is the answer. Is that it's anyone's game at this point.
I
You're asking me.
absolutely love that answer. I
You're
love that answer.
Yeah. You're asking me. Every series is tied at 1. No team has like shown that they're levels above the other. I mean, you could argue the Padres because they've had like the biggest victory, but I still don't. I still think it's anyone's game there. So I'm going with it's anyone's game. It truly is. Going into the postseason, that's what I said. It still rings true right now.
It is everyone. It is anyone's game. The chair is empty. The crown is open.
Do you have an
Let's go
answer?
baseball.
Do you have an
No, I
answer?
don't, because I was going to say I don't. That's you took the words right out of my mouth. Of it's too close to call right now.
Yeah, I
If the
think
Dodgers were up 2-0 and won both games like 11-2, then I'd be like the Dodgers are walking through with it. But clearly the Padres are there to play. Clearly the Mets are there to play. Royals came to play. Tigers came to play. Everyone came to play. Let's go baseball. It's been so much fun watching it.
yeah, I'd happen to agree. So for now, we're just gonna have to do that. Watch. We're gonna have a great time doing it. So we will see you
Amen.
guys in the next one. Peace.